Nvidia just handed a GAN supplier award to a Chinese company most people have never heard of. That company now builds the power chips inside Nvidia's newest AI systems. It is the only China-based firm on Nvidia's approved list for a brand new 800-volt power design. But silicon is not actually obsolete. What really happened is bigger and stranger than that headline. And by the end of this, you will know exactly what changed and why it matters for every AI chip built after this year. The company is called Innoscience. It makes a material called gallium nitride, or GAN for short. GAN is not new science. It has been studied for years. But Innoscience found a way to grow it cheaply, at massive scale, and that is what changed everything. Here is the real problem it solves. Every AI data center burns huge amounts of power just moving electricity around before it even reaches the chip. Innoscience has stated that in older 48-volt power systems, more than 45% of total power can be lost just managing heat. Nvidia's answer is a new power design that runs at 800 volts instead of 48 volts, jumping the voltage that high drops the current needed by about 16 times. Less current means less heat. Electric cars made the same jump years ago, moving from 400-volt systems to 800-volt systems for the same reason. But there is a catch. Building switches that can safely handle 800 volts at extreme speed inside a tiny space is something silicon struggles to do well. Gallium nitride can do it. That gap is exactly where Innoscience built its business. The founder is Huawei. She is not a typical chip executive. She spent 15 years at NASA, working her way up to chief scientist on rocket fuel research at the Marshall Space Flight Center. She holds a PhD in applied mathematics from Massey University in New Zealand. Then she left NASA, moved back to China, and bet her whole career on a material the industry called too risky to touch. In 2015, she founded Innoscience in Zhuhai. Here is the part that made her company different from every other GAN startup. Most companies that work with gallium nitride grow it on small, expensive, specialty wafers. Innoscience figured out how to grow GAN directly on standard 8-inch silicon wafers, the same base material the entire chip industry already uses. That single choice let them build at a scale nobody else could match. In under 6 years, Innoscience became the first company on Earth to mass-produce 8-inch silicon-based GAN wafers. Cameras on public roads are now taking pictures inside your car, not your license plate, your seatbelt, your phone, your passengers. This is not a future plan. It is already running in California, Connecticut, Minnesota, Arkansas, Maryland, and across the United Kingdom right now, and one county in England used this exact system to prosecute 2,200 drivers in a single 4-week stretch. Here is where it started. On the 91 express lanes in California, the Riverside County Transportation Commission spent $5 million to install cameras in the center median. As you drive under them, they fire multiple photos straight through your windshield into the front and back seats. The goal was to catch carpool lane cheaters. About 400,000 cars use those lanes every day, and officials say more than 100,000 of them break the rules. Roughly 25,000 drivers a month were using the free lane with only 1 or 2 people in the car. The cameras count heads. If the system flags a car, a real person checks the photo before anything happens. People have tried to beat it. Hats on headrests, bags stuffed into empty seats. Even mannequins. The AI caught every single one. It can tell a real person from a fake one. Similar systems in other states run at 94 to 97% accuracy. Good, but not perfect. Which is exactly why a human still checks every flag before a fine goes out. That system alone pulled in over $1 million in just 6 months. Now hold that number, because the second type of camera is even more widespread. And it does not just count passengers. It watches what you are doing. A company called AccuSenses builds cameras that photograph your phone use, your seatbelt, and even eating or drinking behind the wheel. They use infrared, so they work at night with no visible flash. You will not know you were photographed until a ticket shows up in the mail weeks later. Connecticut signed a $34 million contract for these cameras. Minnesota is running them on Highway 7. Arkansas uses them in work zones. Maryland has pilot programs active in 2 counties. In the UK, a similar rollout caught 849 violations in 2 weeks, and in Manchester alone, 3,200 violations in 5 weeks. Fines in the US run from $50 to $300. In the UK, they go up to $600. But the UK has taken this even further, and this is the part that should genuinely surprise you. A system called Heads Up, built by a company named Innoscience, uses two cameras working together. One fires an infrared flash straight down through your windshield. The other watches from a lower angle at full motorway speed. Together, they capture your hands, your lap, your seatbelt, and your passenger's seatbelt. In one trial in Sussex, this system logged 458 offenses in just 7 days. In Devon and Cornwall, a 15-day deployment caught 590 seatbelt offenses and 45 phone offenses. Ford's own boss drives a Chinese car to work every single day. He did not buy it from a dealer. His team shipped 5 Chinese electric cars across the ocean and tore them apart bolt by bolt in a lab in Michigan. What they found changed how Ford builds cars. This is why Western automakers are copying BYD right now. And the real story goes much deeper than one car. The man behind the wheel is Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford. About 18 months ago, he told his team to find the best electric cars being built in China and bring them to America. He picked one for himself, a Xiaomi SU7. Xiaomi is a phone company. The SU7 was its first car ever, launched in 2024. Farley liked it so much he kept driving it for over a year. He also flew to Australia to test a Chinese pickup truck called the Shark 6 against a Ford Ranger and a Toyota Hilux. He said he still does not know how they build it so cheap. Back home, his engineers took the Chinese cars apart piece by piece. Farley brought in Doug Field, an engineer who used to work at Tesla and Apple, to look at Ford's own systems. Field's answer was blunt. He said Ford's tools were about 25 years behind, not the car. The tools, the software, the whole way of building. That is the moment everything changed inside Ford. To understand why one company could put a 100-year-old giant 25 years behind, you need to go back to 1995. A young engineer named Wang Chuanfu borrowed $40,000 from his cousin and opened a small workshop in Shenzhen. He made batteries for phones. Within a few years, he was supplying Motorola and Nokia. By 2003, his company was the biggest battery maker on Earth. That same year, he did something that made his own investors furious. He bought a failing state-owned car factory. Wang had a simple idea. He believed the most important part of an electric car was not the engine, it was the battery. And nobody knew batteries better than him. That single decision built the company that Ford is now studying like a textbook. Here is the number that explains almost everything.